12 weeks, my client Sam went from 20% to 10% body fat. Therefore, within this video, I'd like to explain the entire process of how I got him shredded. Make sure you stick around to the end as I'll be explaining all of his mistakes, plus the diet and training strategies that got him in phenomenal shape. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe so I'll continue to provide you guys with great content. Now Sam, like most busy dads, just didn't have much time. He worked a full-time job and exercise and healthy eating was not at the top of his list. So he would often snack on unhealthy foods just to keep him going. So Sam would also go to the gym, but his workouts were ad hoc. He would often work out once or twice a month. And his lifestyle was very sedentary because he works from home. And he was often doing very little steps because he would do an 8 or 9 hour shift. And then outside of that, he would be playing with his daughter. So he would have very little time to exercise. So his lifestyle was incredibly sedentary. Therefore, the amount of movement that he was doing was very little. But when he did try and work out, he'd go for a run here and there. But because his fitness level was so poor, he could not physically push himself. So he would often do 10 or 15 minutes steady run and then get tired. And then before you know it, he was back at home and just sat down again. So back into that sedentary state. So not only was he holding extra visceral body fat that he could not shift, but he did lack strength. He felt very weak because his posture when he was at work was not great. He didn't have strong muscles because he wasn't going to the gym and doing any strength training. So he felt like he was overweight, but also he was very weak. So his main mistakes were he was snacking way too often on unhealthy snacks. He was not prioritizing healthy meals. So he would only have 1 or 2 meals a day. And in between that, he would just snack on sugar. Quick, easy snacks that were just keeping him going, but didn't provide any satiety. So the first step that I took with him was to clean up his diet. So what I did was I created a structure of eating for him. I got him to eat regularly from when he gets up in the morning, structured breakfasts. Now I centered his food around protein because he was eating very little protein. This was probably because, he was just, like I said before, eating quick, easy snacks. And when you do that, you generally eat very little protein. So I based the majority of his meals around high protein dishes. For example, his breakfast would be the likes of eggs or protein powder. That was one of his favorite sort of smoothie. His lunch would be the form of a lean dish, chicken, lean fish, and his snacks in the afternoon, I moved him away from those quick, easy, sugary snacks. Because I created him a plan to follow, a dietary plan, it gave him the drive and motivation to want to succeed. Before, he had no plan. He was just going through the motions, winging it, providing him with a shopping list to follow. That gave him structure to organize his shopping appropriately, to buy the right ingredients and foods. So I centered it around protein. That was, I'd say, the key driving force to helping him lose belly fat. Now, why is protein such an important tool for weight loss? Now, we know that protein, number one, is very low in calories in general. A chicken breast might be only 150 calories and it might contain 50 grams of protein. So I increased his protein intake for the day. He was eating around 30 to 40% of his total protein intake for the day. And if I compare that to what he was eating before, it was only about 15 or 20%. So you can see his protein intake was very little before. And this really affected his chances of losing fat because he was always feeling hungry. Because like I mentioned before, protein gives you that satiety. So if you're eating very little protein, the majority of time you're just going to be hungry. So make sure that you do base all of your foods around a protein base. So it's really important that if you are wanting to lose belly fat like Sam, that number one, you eat high protein. Number two, you don't cut your carbs low. Have at least 30% of your total daily intake from carbs. So when you look at your plate, it should be having at least a quarter of that from whole grain carbohydrates. And then the other quarter should be from healthy fats. So I got him to eat more healthy fats, replace his sugar snacking with nuts. This gave him the healthy fats that he needed, and not the fake energy that he was getting from sugar and refined carbs, which is what he was doing before. And that was driving belly fat. Because if you have stubborn belly fat, your body is probably not converting the food that you eat into energy. It's storing it. Because number one, you're probably eating too much sugar, and this is driving your blood sugar spiking too often. So having a base amount of protein, healthy carbs, and healthy fat will prevent your blood sugar from spiking hard. So those was his main dietary mistakes that he was making. And the plan that I got him to follow and the structure was really the cornerstone of helping him lose the belly fat. Now, I also got him to follow a more of a structured way of exercising. What I did was planned his workout routine around 3 workouts a week based around strength training. Now, what did this do? It helped him gain muscle. He was able to build new muscle because he was strength training. Number one, I got him to be a bit more active at home. I got him from being so sedentary, even though it was hard because his job was sedentary. I got him to do a step goal. So he was now doing about 8,000 steps a day. This helped him burn fat whilst he's at home versus being sedentary. This also helped him with a fitness base because, like I mentioned before, he was so unfit. When he did go to the gym, he couldn't push himself. But now he was doing 8,000 to 10,000 steps a day. This built a good fitness base. Now, this allowed him to then go to the gym and do some high-intensity cardio. So within 12 weeks, he was quickly losing fat at a much faster rate than he had ever done before because he had structure, he had intensity, he had fitness. Whereas before, he was unfit, he was eating wrong, his habits were poor. He also didn't sleep well either. I have not mentioned that point yet, but he did not sleep. His sleep was poor. So it's probably because he wasn't eating well. So once I started to fix his eating, he started to feel more content at nighttime with a proper meal. This helped him sleep better. So he slept for longer, he slept more deeply, and he woke up energized. And this enabled him to get up and go to the gym before work. And that's what he did with his workouts. He was up in the morning, training before work, and this gave him that drive. So if you watch until this part, one of the main key mistakes he was making that I promised you right at the beginning was he was not prioritizing himself. That was the biggest mistake he was making. And that cost everything. And that had a domino effect onto his working out, onto his eating patterns, onto his sleep, his rest and recovery, because ultimately he wasn't prioritizing himself. Because he was a busy dad, he thought that he should prioritize his family, which is understandable, and his work, again, which is understandable, paying the bills. After 12 weeks, Sam felt on top of the world. He had determination to continue for the rest of his life, which he's done. He felt motivated, he felt energized, and his bad habits were way behind him. So there you have Sam's transformation. Hope you found this show helpful. If you did, please comment and share. If you have any questions, feel free to pop them in the comment section. Well, I wish you all the best of luck. I hope it all works out for you, and have a great day. Bye for now.